What's going on YouTube? I am Reactor of All. Right now I'm going to be reacting to a YouTuber who I'm a huge fan of. Hopefully, I really hope he watches this video so I can just keep reacting to his stuff. Well, not only react to his stuff, but provide my own my own perspective on it. His name is RB the Breakthrough. And I'm reacting to his video breaking LeBron James privately denied on Carmelo requests, Bradley Beal to the Heat, and more. What I like about this guy is that his work ethic is there. It's obvious. You see the work he puts into his videos, the effort he makes to gather his resources to eventually gain his commentary, his perspective on it. And that's something that I like to do too. Granted, I don't have the resources that he does, but yeah, big fan. So without further ado, let's just get started on the video. RB, if you're watching, let me know what you think. Privately, we don't have to, this could be behind closed doors if you want. I'm not gonna, there's no reason to call each other out, Anyway, I'm excited. Let's get started. I like the intro. Great intro. Let's go. I'm gonna add a commentary. I've already liked it. Now see, what I want to know is, what does he mean by denied on Carmelo request? Did he deny Carmelo from requesting the Lakers to get it, or was, just for clarity, or was LeBron James denied by the Lakers, or that they don't want to get Melo, All right, let's go. RB, man, there ain't no reason for you to apologize. I mean, man, when your stuff is cash money. So, yeah, you don't need to apologize. I feel like the only reason why it's a huge deal is because Dwight Howard has been to the Lakers before, when he was with Kobe. And so it's like, oh, like another way to have another parallelism where you got Howard with Kobe, but you have the Kobe replacement, or the replacement, like, superstar in LeBron. It's like, oh, he's just going to the Lakers with another superstar. Let's see how that goes. Oh my God, this is kind of exciting. He has a second chance. And I think there's Joakim Noah too, and I'm not sure who else. Between Joakim Noah and Dwight Howard, I prefer Dwight Howard, but that's not like a ringing endorsement on either of them, and this is just because in terms of fit, Dwight Howard would kind of he's a big body, so he can spare the body of Anthony Davis, so Anthony Davis can be more efficient and stay healthier longer. I don't understand Joakim. Marcin Gortat, I don't know. I haven't really heard anything serious with Marcin Gortat when it comes to health, so I feel like that'd be a nice pick. That'd be a nice pickup. Offensively, I feel he's slightly more skilled than Dwight Howard. Although defensively, I think I'd prefer Dwight Howard still. Let's see what we got. Kenneth Faried. I like that pick. It's a very nice pick because when you look at what Kenneth Faried brings to the table, no, he's not as tall as Dwight Howard. He's not as tall as the other options, but his energy, when he's on the court, his energy is off the charts. He can offensively, he can give you pretty much everything Dwight Howard can give you, perhaps a little more. Similar relation to Gortat and Noah, but then at the same time you got defensively, it's a different defense. His energy, I feel like because his energy is so high when he's on the court, I feel like he would encourage the other teammates to play defense. Like, oh my God, he blocked the shot, because his effort's there. His effort to go for those blocks, to go for those steals, it's there. So it would definitely encourage the other players to play defense more. But he didn't sign. I mean, the Wizards they're in a bad situation. 3 years, $110 million. I feel like that's a good price. That's a good salary or whatever you want to call it for Bradley Beal. But when you look at it, it's like, okay, this, John Wall's going to be coming back from injury during that contract. We don't know how John Wall's going to come back. I believe in John Wall, but factually we don't know. Yeah, like in the trade deadline, if they don't have a lot of people besides John Wall, that's a discouraging sign for the Wizards. So I can see the approach, to Bradley Beal here. And I feel like, the Wizards, part of the reason why they haven't been as successful as people would expect, I guess. Sometimes it was injuries. Sometimes it was really not. It was something that couldn't really be explained, because they would lose to inferior competition in previous years. So yeah, Bradley Beal is justified. He's looking at the Heat. That's a big deal. I mean, this kind of speaks to kind of the power shift, that LeBron and, Kawhi and Kevin Durant and all the stars, most of the stars, they're taking advantage of that. Where the players have the power over the teams, the presidents, things like that. And so, knowing that Bradley Beal wants Miami, there's going to be a different motivation for the Wizards general manager, the Wizards organization, to move him. And in that sense, it would be in their best interest to probably bring John Wall into the fray. Make it a full rebuilding mode. They can get that would be they would get a lot for both of those guys, I feel. Even though with John Wall's injury, it would be, it wouldn't be as much as under normal circumstances, But that has the potential to be a crazy team. Then the Miami Heat. I mean, even without John Wall, I can see them being, with Bradley Beal, I could see them being top 4. I'd say. I would have to look at the other teams. The Raptors aren't the same. So you got Milwaukee Bucks, you got Boston, you got Philly. Not necessarily in that order. Ben Simmons is developing, I think. So I feel like Philly, the order's subject to change. But Miami would be the 4th, I think. And then if you add John Wall, like if Wizards play the cards right and play the cards to move John Wall on top of that, that's a hell of a haul. That gives Miami a window to make the Eastern Conference Finals at least. I feel make the Eastern Conference Finals at least. I think they would be, depending how Kemba works out, I feel like they could be above Boston. The Bucks would be an obstacle for them, I think, but I still think they would do it. It would be Philly against Heat for the Eastern Conference Finals, I feel. Assuming health. Yeah, you got to see what offers there are with just Bradley Beal, the offers with John Wall and Bradley Beal. That deal is going to be hard to move, but I feel like if they move Bradley Beal but they don't move John Wall, they're going to kind of be in the Oklahoma City Thunder situation where they have a lot of draft picks and they want, their goal is to rebuild, but they have Steven Adams' contract and they have Chris Paul's contract that are kind of, well, not as much Steven Adams, but Chris Paul's contract in particular holds them back from, making the full rebuild. And so the Wizards could run into that as well, which could be problematic especially since we don't know how John Wall's going to come back. So if you have the opportunity to move him, You know, you could get a haul, or you could take a chance and, you know, knock on wood that he comes back fully healthy. That's what I hope for John Wall, but we'll see. Exactly, and that speaks to the power of the players. That speaks to the power of the players, and that, you know, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, depending on the other players, that's a, like I said, it's a great team. I mean, the thing with that is, well, first off, it would be smart for Bradley Beal to get his money, but by him getting money and then asking for a trade afterwards, depending on how the Wizards react to that, it could end up being kind of like an Anthony Davis situation where they really resisted trading Anthony Davis. And I know that for the Pelicans, that proved to be short-sighted and kind of defensive on their part. But I can understand the reluctance on Bradley Beal's part to sign that contract. You know, by not signing the contract, it makes every team know that Bradley Beal is perhaps more ready to leave than we realize. But you know, with that said, probably the best choice would be to sign the contract and see if you can talk to the Wizards as you're making that contract to say, hey, look, I feel like this contract is fair, but at the same time, I want you to recognize that I don't intend to be here during that whole contract. And just see what they say. I mean, the players have the power these days. We don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, and that's the approach that Bradley Beal should have in terms of, hey, man, look, I want to leave, but because I've been here for so long, I want to have the contract with you guys, and then you guys can get value for me back. I feel like that's the most reasonable thing in this situation. I mean, if Wizards end up with nothing, like, what are they gonna be? Like, the Charlotte Bobcats? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like in terms of that's insulting. I'm sorry, but what I mean is, like, that's good. It's not gonna be a good team. It's gonna be a good team. And John Wall coming back perfectly healthy. It's like, how good are they gonna do? You know? All right. Lakers, Heat, and Bucks. Do the Lakers have cap space? I don't know if the Lakers have cap space. I don't think they do. No, I'm pretty sure they don't. I mean, if they did, that would be a monster. They would be the favorites to win everything. The Heat, like I said, I feel like they'd be in the top 4. If the cards are played right, maybe number 2, 1 or 2. You know, Philly being the other 1 or the 2. And then the Bucks. Ooh. I didn't even think about the Bucks. I mean, they lost Brogdon, right? So, in terms of personnel, they might be weaker slightly than last year. But I mean, Giannis is going to develop. What's his face? Middleton's going to develop. You know, some of the other guys are going to develop there. And then you bring Bradley Beal to replace Brogdon. Granted, I feel like some of the pieces that the Bucks have would have to be traded, you know. But that's a scary team. I mean, before RB gets to the point of what James Harden has to say, like, there was that time when James Harden had that run-in with the ref, and because of that, he really expressed his opinion about the ref, even though a lot of the NBA players that night agreed with him. He wasn't even trying to be offensive, he was just trying to be objective, and he got fined a hefty sum for that. And it kind of speaks to, it can be, it's relatable to the, you know, what he's about to discuss. You know, like, you have the media people trying to get a narrative, you have the media people, like you know, the media, asking that question, what do you expect Harden to say? You know, Harden could be either having a very politically correct response, which would be dishonest, or he can be honest and get tens of thousands of dollars in fines. And that's just, the tip of the iceberg. Like, in some ways, it comes off like the media tries to take advantage of the moment, but not in a way that is completely dignified. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the morning after, you can talk about the refs. But that's a lose-lose for Harden. And some of the questions that are asked, it becomes a lose-lose for the players. Has ever done that before? He offensively carried his team for a good chunk of time. People still criticize his defense, but offensively, the load that he had was pretty much record-breaking. Like, almost, it was most. It's hard to imagine that it was less than anyone else in the season. So yeah, it's like, why you gotta nitpick? Why you gotta criticize when, like, what he's doing? Just recognize what he's doing, and that's what he's focusing on for the most part. Yeah, there is a focus on narratives. Kevin Durant. There has also been a lot of narratives with Durant, in particular. Yeah. Like, I feel like there are two other players in particular that I feel have gotten criticized to a point where it's kind of unjustified in this regard, to a point where it compromises their reputation, even though they're doing relatively good in like production, And I feel like, so two of those players, DeMarcus Cousins and JaVale McGee. And now okay, don't hate. I know that people are going to be saying, "Oh, JaVale McGee, the Shaq didn't fool." No, that's what I'm saying. In this situation, Shaq was part of the media to where, the narrative has been perpetuated that JaVale McGee is clumsy. But then you look at what JaVale McGee has done for the past year for the Lakers, and it's like, he was doing great for them. He was leading the league, I think, for a period of time in shot blocks. Block shots. And so, but then he got sick, and then his production wasn't as high as it was in the beginning of the year. But JaVale McGee did really good. And then with DeMarcus Cousins, historically, when he was even in Sacramento, I don't think he ever really had the benefit of the doubt. He was regarded as someone who was immature. He was someone who was regarded as, just immature. And even though he's very talented, they didn't give him enough credit for that. I feel they looked at more the technical fouls or whatever, and people like Shaq or the people who played in the previous generation, they had their fair share of technical fouls, and they're respected now, and I don't know if DeMarcus Cousins is going to get that same respect later on because of the level of scrutiny that he had, and the bad luck that he has now. So yeah, man. We're 5 minutes in, or 4:59 and less than 5 minutes in, I feel like everyone recognizes why RB the Breakthrough is successful at what he does, and that's because, one, the work ethic, two, the willingness, not even just the willingness, the desire to understand other people's perspective, being real, not sucking up, but like just trying to look at the facts, trying to get all the parties' opinions, James Harden, other NBA players, that kind of thing. And then what he's doing right now, forming his own commentary that is well informed. So yeah, 459, and we already see why he has the success that he has. Well, I mean, I'm not counting his money or anything, but like the subscribers and the growth he has. That's what I mean. Okay, he dropped Kendall Jenner, and now he's a brand new man. I feel like that's a trend. Like, not with the Kardashians. I mean, I'm not trying to make it about them, but in terms of relationships that aren't enhancing to both people, and now that Ben Simmons has the loss of that distraction, I expect him to grow. Yeah, I mean, the only thing holding him back prior to this offseason was like a jump shot that he felt comfortable shooting. And so, but if he's going to be working his jump shot to the point where he's going to be confident in attempting the shot, that's a dangerous thing, especially when you have like the point guards, when you have like the defenders of Ben Simmons like sagging off by like 5-10 feet, sometimes. So like, one, they're daring him to shoot it, and also to anticipate that if he if he does try to drive, that they're ready for a double team, or a reaction can happen, and so him with the jump shot, I don't know, that's game over, but that makes Philly probably the 1 seed. Dang it. Video removed by FS1. Dang it, don't tease me like that. Don't tease me like that. Wow. Okay. I mean, I never played basketball past like middle school, okay, so, but like the more reps you get, the easier, the less pressure you feel in taking the shot, the more confident you feel in your shot. And at that point, the only thing is like, oh, okay, the defender's there, okay, calm down, take the shot. So yeah, I mean, whatever practice he's doing, it's going to improve his game. Yeah, use the pressure against the defender. But oh, okay, wait, I had kind of a delayed understanding of what he said. Yeah, I mean, use the pressure against them. Okay, so like I said, you got the defender that's like 10 feet away from Ben Simmons, daring him to shoot it, and then using that pressure against him, daring him to shoot it, versus, hey, you better not drive. Like, one, that pressure will have to be altered, especially if Ben Simmons is going to take and make those jump shots. And so the defense will feel even more pressured. Ben Simmons is going to be a nightmare. I mean, Russell Westbrook with Steph Curry's jump shot. I mean, anyone with almost anybody with Stephen Curry's jump shot would be like a starter. But Russell Westbrook with Stephen Curry's jump shot, that became over. that became over. It became over. Yeah, exactly. He'd be like James Harden. Well, sorry. Actually, he might be better than James Harden, because like the points per game that he has, it's relatively inefficient to James Harden. So he might even be getting more points per game than James Harden if he had Curry's jump shot. Exactly. Yeah, pick your poison. And maybe the reason why he wasn't doing it in the past was because of some of the distractions. Maybe he was still adjusting to life as a millionaire, adjusting to, I don't know when he started that relationship with Kendall Jenner, but maybe that was a factor. Girls was a factor. Yeah, that's kind of messed up, there's a lot of that, everything with LeBron. It's like, he's an NBA championship. But Kyrie Irving hit the last shot. he had the most blocks, you know, most of the main statistical categories. Oh, but this person, that. Shut up. You know, like, just give credit where it's due, you know? I mean, I like that you're keeping it real, but I've already liked the video. I can't give you, like, you know, double like, you know. Dang it, you remove it again. I want to see these videos. Do you have a link to them? I'll see it at the end. Wait. Before you talk about summertime. So Devin Booker was criticizing other NBA players for double teaming him. I mean, I wasn't able to see the video recording because it was blocked by FS1. I mean, I feel like in drills, I mean, not for the whole time you're playing defense, but I feel like for a small portion, that could be a way to be like to increase the chemistry. It's like, okay, when I'm double teaming with this guy against a star player, and we know that he's unstoppable that night, okay, this is going to be your tendency, this is going to be my tendency, and we can try to be complementary, you know? But yeah, for the most part, I mean, in a pickup game, generally no, it should be one-on-one. It should be one-on-one. That term is very, it's a very sad term. Blackballed, 8.5 minutes in, blackballed from the league. Melo is better. Okay, so he's better easily than everyone, the 10th man to the 15th man. He's better than everyone. Maybe someone from the 10 to 15, maybe slightly better on defense or something, you know, some specific statistic, but I'd rather have Carmelo than anyone in the 10 to 15th man. From 6 to 10, I mean, look at the six man of the year, Lou Williams, right? You know, Melo, Lou Williams. You know, he's a 6 man of the year, and I'm having a hard time deciding Lou Williams definitively. You know what I'm saying? So, but for Melo to not even be in the league when he could have been like potentially 6 man of the year material, or maybe even a starter, you know, it's blackballing. It's blackballing. People could say, oh well, you know, he had a problem coming off the bench in Oklahoma. Well, in first take with Stephen A. Smith, he made it clear that the idea of being a starter versus being on the bench was first brought up, clearly at least, by a member of the media, not the coach. And he said that if the coach talked to him about it, then he would be more open to, he'd be more receptive to that. And I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, considering how bad he's trying to come back, how hard he's trying to come back. So it sucks that he's being blackballed, and that's a term that we have to use to associate Melo with, you know? That's a very how do we know Bron hasn't went to Lakers and told him to sign Melo? That's a very good point. You know, the relationship between the Lakers and LeBron, at least early on, was not perfect. And we all know, if, you know, like, maybe, you know, this could, you know, looking at it through another perspective, this could also be like a power trip on the Lakers' part, refusing to sign Melo because LeBron wants him there. You know, did we even think about that? And also, you know, if he refused, if he didn't try to sign Melo anywhere, do you really think that Melo would want to practice with him? You know, it's like, man, I'm not even trying to be a starter. I'm just trying to be like a player in any team. You know, do you think you can help me out? No, Melo. I'm just trying to, you know, do what's best for me. You know, it's like, do you really think Melo would want to practice with him? You know, like, how does that make sense? You know, it's okay. So, how do you know Bron haven't went to the Lakers and told him to sign Melo? When is Bron? GMs told him no several times. Bron tried to get Melo in Cleveland, and the Cavs told him no. Okay. That's a very telling statement. One, about Cleveland, because Cleveland doesn't have the reputation of being like an incredible organization that brings top-notch talent, or new top-notch talent, at least not like the Golden State, you know? I mean, basically it's like, oh, we got LeBron. Okay, LeBron left, we're gonna get another ring before LeBron gets a ring. Oh wait, LeBron, please come back. Thank you for the ring. You know, like, they don't seem very dynamic when it comes to adding to talent that has stumbled onto their lap, you know? So, Braun tried to get Melo in Cleveland and the Cavs told him no. I feel like that's an indictment against Cleveland, not an indictment against the team, it's an indictment against the team, not an indictment against Melo. You know? Like, in Cleveland, when LeBron was in Cleveland, Melo was an all-star. Maybe not, like, in his second stint, necessarily, like, he'd be borderline, I think, but... Really? You accepted JR, but you don't accept Melo? And the reason why I say JR is because, one, he played with the Knicks, but Melo was on the Knicks, and I'm not trying to suggest anything. But that's a bad example with Cleveland. I mean, it's true. It's true, and it's... I mean, not a bad example against Perkins, just a bad example that Cleveland would actually not accept Melo. You know, that it's stupefying to me that happened. Braun haven't went to the Lakers and told him. I mean, when his GMs tell LeBron no, so he's not just asking the Lakers, he's asking everybody, and just no, just hasn't. Everyone seems to be saying no. Definitely most powerful. Wait. Oreos for 4 more All-Stars. I mean, maybe we shouldn't be joking about that because, you know, Kyle Korver, I believe, he was traded once for a fax machine. Unless I'm getting mixed up with Steve Kerr. So, I mean, if he was traded for a team for, like, a fax machine, maybe Oreos isn't that far off. I mean, if we're talking millions of dollars, a fax machine is nothing compared to, you know, and by that logic, Oreos is also nothing compared to millions of dollars. So, I mean, let's be careful. just messing around. Okay, LeBron James. There you go. In both ends. I don't think LeBron would feel okay. Like, I think he'd feel guilty if he's like, no, man, I'm not going to help you try to get to another team, but let's train together. You know, I don't see that in LeBron. I don't believe that LeBron would do that. And then what I said about Melo on the other end, I don't think Melo would want to practice with LeBron if LeBron didn't try to help him, or at least not as hard as he is. You know. I mean, if you made your own corporation, I mean, I'd work for you. I mean, straight up, like, yeah. I don't understand it either. Everything that I wanted to say, I've said already. But it's bad. Wait. I mean, the only reason why I don't currently follow you is because I don't have a Twitter, I don't have an Instagram. I'm, relatively speaking, I'm a caveman, okay? So, my bad on that. 279. Let's go. Let's get it. Alright, man. Okay, so the video's done. It was a great video. You know, details regarding, you know, Bradley Beal, LeBron James being denied. It speaks to the work ethic that he has and the time that he's committed to it. It's there. But it's pretty sad news. It's pretty sad news that, yeah, that Melo can't even be a 6th man, that he can't even be a 10th man, that he can't even be a 15th man. I think that's kind of unreasonable, You know, assuming that melo is the same melo as last year, or more in shape melo. That's a monster. And you're not gonna have him as a 15th man. Like, that's just kind of, if that's not blackballed, I don't know what is. Anyway, I'm Reactor of All. Please like and subscribe. RB, if you're listening to this reaction, let me know what you think about it. I want to. I'm not intentionally trying to, steal your stuff or anything. I legitimately enjoy your material. I like reacting to your material, even before doing this. So if you have any advice, any constructive criticism, anything like that, I'm open to it. Anyway, guys, you've been great. If you listened to the end of the video, peace.